Hey, how's it going everyone? I'm White Pointer and like everyone, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, I'm jumping on the bandwagon and making a video about it as well. But this is going to be mostly a negative one that discusses a certain mechanic that really annoys me, and not just in this game, but a lot of games. I've seen a number of videos to bring some various criticisms about the game, but there's one aspect of it that I'm barely ever seeing mentioned, so I'm going to talk about it here. I will begin by saying that I think Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is an incredible game, and I don't think I've spent as long playing any other single player game as I have this one. They enhanced and expanded upon Breath of the Wild in just about every way, and they jam-packed the world of Hyrule full of so much stuff that's honestly a bit overwhelming. There's more than 150 shrines, most of which either contain puzzles within them or require a puzzle to be solved to unlock. There's completely new areas to explore in the sky and the depths. There's hundreds of side quests, better designed dungeons, new enemies to fight, and plenty of things to find, including bubble gems and Koroks that want to be reunited with their friends. And that's not even touching on the construction system and the incredible physics engine that drives it, allowing for some truly mind-blowing creations. It really is an amazing game, but the more time I've spent with it, the more little nitpicks I've had, and it's not without its flaws. And what I want to talk about here is a pretty big flaw, in my opinion, and it's not a blemish that's unique to this game either. It's a problem that's crept into countless games over the years, and I'm honestly not really sure where it all started, but it needs to stop. It's something I like to call the Monster Hunter syndrome. So let's just backpedal for a moment to quickly discuss Monster Hunter. Many of you will be familiar with this series, but just in case you aren't, the core gameplay loop of a Monster Hunter game is to bring down giant monsters so you can harvest their parts that can be used to build better equipment in order for you to take on even tougher monsters. However, each part of the monster only has a certain chance of being able to be harvested, which means you often need to fight the same monsters again and again. There's also other materials you can gather that are needed to make equipment and can be used to temporarily enhance your stats. Developers Capcom certainly didn't invent this concept when they released the first game in the series back in 2004, as many games used similar mechanics prior to this, but it was the first, at least to my knowledge, to actually build their core gameplay out of it. But this kind of works for Monster Hunter, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, because that's the entire idea of the game. My question is then, why the hell is this mechanic stuffed into so many games now? To make matters worse, it's usually included in games such as huge open world adventure games, like Tears of the Kingdom, but also others like massive sprawling RPGs. These games are already chock full of content, so including this kind of thing is totally unnecessary and only seems to be there to pad out the playtime even further, and is quite frankly, bad design. Put simply, developers need to stop being so disrespectful of a player's time. Tears of the Kingdom, like Breath of the Wild before it, allows you to upgrade your various armor sets, and each upgrade level requires a number of materials. For the level 1 or 2 upgrades, the materials are generally pretty common and easy to find, but the level 3 and 4 upgrades require materials that are much tougher to come by. Monster parts will always drop when you take out monsters, but some parts have a lower chance of dropping than others. And some of the monster part drop rates in Tears of the Kingdom are pretty atrocious, especially for the tougher enemies you'll need to take out, such as Lynels, Gleeoks and Froxes, but even some of the smaller enemies too, like Lizalfos. It's honestly pretty ridiculous, as you could be killing monsters over and over again, and the game just stubbornly refuses to give you the drops you want. I could take out a dozen fire Lizalfos, for example, and only manage to get a couple of tails. What the heck happened to their tails? They had them before they died. Did they go into tail heaven? Did they just vanish into thin air? Who knows? Now, I know many players out there try to explain this phenomenon in their headcanon as, well, maybe that specific part was damaged in the battle and is unusable, which might work for you if that's your line of thinking, but it's just a waste of time to me. If I need a specific drop from a monster, I should be able to go and find that monster, kill it, and be guaranteed to get my part. I shouldn't need to kill it, then cross my fingers and toes and any other part of my anatomy and hope that RNGesus is kind enough to me to drop the parts I want. One particular case was that I needed Lynel guts to upgrade an armor set. Alright, cool. Let's go out and kill some Lynels. I found and took out a basic red-maned Lynel. No guts. Huh, odd. I found another one. Still no guts. So I went to Google to see if I was doing something wrong. Some people suggest that different types of Lynel have different drop rates. It's possible these red-maned Lynels don't drop guts at all. Great. Thanks, Nintendo. So with that information, I go and find the next strongest, a blue-maned Lynel, this time saving the game before fighting it. I bring it down and no guts. Reload, try again. Still no guts. 2 or 3 more reloads, the game still isn't giving me guts. This is ridiculous. So I venture out again to find a white-maned Lynel, which are quite a lot rarer and much tougher to bring down, but should have a much higher drop rate for guts. Since there's only a few of them in the overworld, I needed to consult Google again to find out where they were. After I found one, once again, just to be sure, I save before I fight it. I take it out and no guts. Reload, try again. No guts. Reload, try again. No guts. At this point, I'm almost ready to throw my controller at the TV. I try one more time, he does that exploding animation, and what's that round orange thing on the ground? Is that Lynel guts? It is! Finally! Great, so now I just need 5 more. 5 more? You've got to be kidding me, game. I just spent the best part of an hour trying to get one of these things, and I still need to get 5 more? Now, I know what you're thinking at this point. You're thinking, what the hell are you doing, man? Just abuse an item duplication glitch and save yourself the grind. And you know what? I was initially determined to play the game without resorting to duplicating, but after that experience, the thought of needing to go through that who knows how many more times in order to get all the Lynel guts I needed just didn't appeal to me. So I relented and I did use a glitch, one of the couple that still remain in the game as of version 1.2.0, as I had updated my game, and I didn't feel at all guilty about it. The thing is though, I never would have considered it if the game wasn't so stingy about giving me the drops I wanted in the first place. Killing these Lynels over and over again did get me thinking though, and I found myself wondering what the logic is in making us fight the toughest regular enemies in the game, again and again, in order to get materials to upgrade armor. I mean, these enemies are why I want to upgrade my armor in the first place. If I'm already killing the toughest monsters, clearly I don't really need the armor upgrade. The problem is exasperated when it comes to other materials you might need, such as critters like fireflies, butterflies, fish, frogs, rhino beetles, or what have you. If you find yourself short of these things, then you'll probably need to make your way to Google again to look up the spots where you can obtain them. And even once you know where they are, they can be incredibly hard to find, and even more difficult or sometimes impossible to catch. Really, Nintendo? These things are already rare enough to find, and you put one way up there so it's impossible for me to reach it without it flying away? The Sensor Plus upgrade is mandatory if you ever want to find these things, but I don't know why there's a restriction of only being able to set to look for only one thing at a time. You could be walking past some materials you might need as you try to track down others without even realizing it, so it would be a lot more useful if you could give it a few different things to search for. That way, the game alerts you when you are close to a number of materials you might be trying to obtain, and makes the grinding slightly less painful. It might also be nice if there was some kind of alert if you scroll over a certain part of the map screen, so you don't need to Google where to find things. Sometimes it's not quite so bad as you can buy them from Beetle, but for some reason, known only to Nintendo, you can only buy 2 or 3 of any one item from him per in-game day. So once again, you need to waste time as you sit at a campfire or go to a bed and move time forward a day so you can go back to Beetle to buy another 2 or 3 and then repeat the process. This isn't a huge hassle overall, but there's really no reason why the game just doesn't let you buy as many as you need in one go. And don't get me started on trying to harvest dragon parts. Not only are the dragons themselves harder to find in Tears of the Kingdom, thanks to the fact that they are no longer in the same place at the same time every day and can now also be underground, but farming their parts is an abysmally slow and boring process. Once you've managed to land on the back of one, there are 4 main parts you need to get from them: a scale, a claw, a fang, and a horn fragment. The dragon glows when you're able to take one of these parts, which all require you to hit the dragon in a certain spot, and some of them, such as the claw and especially the fang, can be pretty difficult to hit without accidentally hitting the wrong part and getting a scale instead. But the worst of it is that you can only take one of these things and then the dragon stops glowing, making you wait 10 real-world minutes before the dragon glows again and you can take another one of these parts. That means to get just one of each of these 4 dragon parts, assuming you get one of them as soon as you land on the dragon, you'll need to wait around on the back of the dragon doing nothing most of the time for a good half an hour. I'm having fun! Look how much fun I'm having! Once again, that's incredibly bad design and a waste of my time as a player. I should just be able to land on the dragon, get the parts I need quickly, then get off and continue on my way. And look, I get it. Doing this stuff is optional, for the most part. I don't need those upgrades to finish the story. But that shouldn't matter. I shouldn't need to waste so much time doing this kind of thing. And while item duplication glitches still exist in Tears of the Kingdom, for now, Nintendo has been trying to fix them one by one, so there's no guarantees they'll be around forever. While you may have turned auto updates off for this reason, many players haven't, and there may be a point where all of these glitches are patched out and any new players to the game are forced to go through the grind. And even if that's not the case, it doesn't help the players of countless other games that don't have item duplication glitches that incorporate this same kind of bullshit. Tears of the Kingdom certainly isn't the only offender in this case. Please developers, stop being so disrespectful of our time as players. You are not making Monster Hunter. Your games have so much content in them already that they do not need their playtime padded out by random monster drops and tedious material gathering. You're better than that. Please stop this. So, that's the end of my rant. Thank you for sticking around till the end if you've got this far. Do you agree with my thoughts on this? Or do you think it's not a big deal and I should just live with it? Does anything else in this kind of game annoy you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, as I do read all of them. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, it really helps a lot, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with my content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.